Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian twist on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, J.A., and I am joined by a plethora. That's more than two, but less than five.
Okay.
Of people, and that is DJ and Richie. How are you, boys?
Excellent, mate. Clearly, you've got a word of the day you had to get in.
What did I toilet paper? I was up there doing clearing myself for the big show, and
you're working your way through P in the dictionary.
Or plethora, and it's more than two, but less than five is a plethora of something, according to my toilet paper.
Good job. Good job.
That's a bit of fun facts for everyone today. There's some other fun facts I've got for a lot of people, actually. The Bengals are going to go in and they're going to beat the Steelers. They're going to frickin' embarrass them. Now, they won't blow them out. It'll be a close game, but the Bengals will win this game. And I can't explain to you why. I don't think the Bengals are necessarily better. I don't think the Steelers are that good. And I think TJ Watt a huge loss. Huge loss. When he went out against the Raiders. Massive loss. Defense was nowhere near as good. That was me last night, boys. People who listen on the podcast, you just think I've launched into a different segment. No, that was me last night on our Sunday night preview show, which I did with the great man DJ. Great show last night, DJ. It was good fun. That was me getting stuck in to the Steelers and
all their fans, just quietly.
And a little bit of flack. That was probably the nicest stuff I said, believe it or not. Popped a little bit of flack from some people in the chat, but I was going to say, eat it, all of you, eat it. You guys suck. The Bengals just beat you at home. The Bengals. And that leads me to the funnest part of every week, messages from Neil. Messages from Skinny.
Our resident Steelers fan.
So he's getting a bit sloppy. I had to actually message him saying, Neil, I need something from you. You're the star of the show. And he responded with, now, if you're going to read out my messages verbatim, I'm going to have to stop sending dick pics. Okay. I'll send seven or eight more. I started following Pittsburgh in 1997. And since that time, we've only lost to the Bengals by more than 10 points once. Put that into perspective, 1997, Tommy Kinlock was still in his mid-40s. Now let's address the elephant in the room between Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are finished. Clearly, Richie's been using the Steelers as a smokescreen. They are done. Looking forward to your ramblings.
See, classic misdirect. Just throws a bunch of shade in my direction, hoping we'll forget about his shitty Steelers.
Yeah, good job, Skinny. Like that
Very
one.
Good, Skinny. So
I love the
while throwing up his own smokescreen, he accuses Richie of using a smokescreen. That's what I loved about it. Steelers in real trouble.
Just quietly, it only gets worse for them. They've got the Packers, the Broncos, Seahawks, and the Browns for their next four. They could lose all of them.
That make them 1-7.
It would.
That'd be exciting for everyone, bar Steeler fans.
Their first winnable game that I can see is when they play the Bears and then the Lions back to back.
Oh, yeah, they're in trouble until then, though. Oh, my God.
They're going to lose them all.
Roethlisberger, the tree, he's in trouble. But that brings us, that was just a bit of a fun way to start the show. They don't really deserve to get into the actual rundown of the show, so I thought I'd use a way to make myself look better to bring up the Steelers and get some message in. I want to thank our good friends at Burnley Brewing, as always, for their sponsorship. Having the draft, really on the draft. The new can, very cool design, all the real on it if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you to Burnley Brewing. Absolutely love your work. Get in at 648 Bridge Road, Richmond. Get yourself a takeaway meal, a beer, takeaway beer, whatever you got to do. Buy some cans. If you want a chance to win a box of Burnley Brewing, enter our Patreon, which we got a new Patreon this week. So one closer, DJ. You're getting excited. That was Dan Starkey, or Sparklemane II, I believe he put in as his name. So Sparklemane's the fairy horse from Bluey. If you guys don't know that, you should.
Not yet. I'm probably maybe 6 months off, I think.
Yeah, Bluey. So that's what he went in as. But love your work, Starkey. So you can get a chance to win that, or.
So one more $10 Patreon, and we'll be going for 2 prizes a month.
I'll count it up next week when we do the actual thing. This week you got a chance to win the Wise jersey from the New England Patriots. So a lot of hype around that because obviously there's just a ton of New England fans in Australia, or are they all Bucks fans now? I'm not sure. But that's what we got there. Also, thank you to our friends at Dark Horse Electrics. Love your work, Dylan. You need a reliable, high-quality electrician. Dylan's your man. I wouldn't go to anyone else, even if they were named Wellington. Fuck them. Go to Dylan and Dylan only. And lastly, ussportsgear.com.au. You need any equipment for the upcoming football season, head in there. Also, college replica helmets and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. Gloves, I believe, Richie. Am I not wrong there, am I?
Normally, yes. We are struggling to get some from our supplier. They are hopefully on the way. I'm expecting them in a couple of weeks. But last week,
hope.
Yeah, pretty much at the moment. But last week we sold a Hawaii replica helmet to someone in New South Wales. We sold a Sun Devils to someone in Queensland. I'm not sure if they were trying to make a little state helmet, because that's what the Queensland state team is known as. So yeah, I had a couple of them go out last week. So
very cool.
They look great.
I'll have to get a full size. I think I want to get a full size Oregon one, Rich. I think I want to get. I just can't pick. I looked on the website the other night and tried to pick. It's tough. There's a lot of good Oregon ones. So
they just sent me an updated catalog. They've added 2 more. You can now get 12.
Ooh, all right, send them over. I might have to get 2 or 3 if I can't decide. Do you know what I mean?
But by comparison,
need to build a new cabinet.
Alabama has 1. They have not changed that helmet ever. And if you like Oregon, you can choose from their 12 different helmets.
The helmets are pretty sick, though, at Oregon, to be fair.
They're unbelievable. It's the best thing they do. Like, football's the second best thing they do behind their uniforms. And they're pretty good at football, too, just quietly. They're way better. Sorry, I just breathed in and
straight into the mic.
Yeah, that was good. Sorry, everybody out there.
Everyone leaving their cars tomorrow, they start swerving because they hear a humongous wave.
Professional outfit, though, you've come to the wrong place, because you know what, when you listen to the Vault, you know what you're getting, and you just got it. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sorry. I don't apologize for anything around here, especially Steelers fans. Richie, get us into it. Justin Tucker, he's a freak show.
He sure is. Hits an NFL record 66-yard field goal, doinks it off the crossbar of all things, and it jumped in. The crowd shot behind it was incredible, as the 2 Ravens fans that were just jumping up and down. All the poor Lions fans had their hearts ripped out. This was their chance to knock off a pretty good team, DJ, and they missed it.
Mate, honestly, we were having a group chat at the time, and I was so excited that the Lions were about to beat the Ravens. And I messaged about 3 or 4 times because I was super, super excited. And Jay just said one thing. He goes, Lamar's going to get the ball back and they're going to win. Not, yeah, bullshit. And I was proven wrong.
Why would you doubt
it was the most exciting, was it 18 seconds or 28 seconds, I think, that I've seen of football today. And that was for the stinky Lions. So that entire stadium just went silent. It was terrifying. It was amazing to watch.
Jay, when he...
sorry, go. Yep.
So when he lined up, we all know Justin Tucker, how good a kicker he is. Did you think he'd hit it, though? Because I didn't. I thought it would fall short.
I thought it was very, very unlikely, but in my mind, I thought if anyone can do it, it's Justin Tucker. Like, he's a Hall of Fame kicker.
Yeah, put him in now.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. He holds almost every kicking record. I think he has all of them. There's like 6 of them anyway, but he's got the longest, the most game winning, the best kicking percentage, which could drop obviously in time. He owns tons of them. He's the best kicker in the history of the NFL. I said 20 years I've been watching the NFL now, and I've never seen a guy I trust more than him. And what a way to save your team from a fucking dreadful game. A dreadful game. Lamar Jackson was awful. He was awful. And he took a sack on the last drive. Are you kidding me, Lamar? Throw it out of bounds. He played dreadfully in this game. Marquise Brown dropped 3 touchdowns. Lamar missed a wide open Andrews. It was bad. It was a bad game. The Ravens should have won this 34 to whatever the Lions scored, to 17. That's what they should have won. It should have been a blowout. But Justin Tucker saved them, and sometimes it's what you get. Ravens could very easily be 0-3, very easily. No
doubt. But the sign of a good team is they're not, so they're lucky. Moving on to a team who's on the wrong side of it, the Colts are now 0-3. DJ, I'll start with you. Is there any chance they can pull this back?
Absolutely not. I think Carson Wentz, unfortunately, is still carrying that injury from week 2, and I don't think that they've got much going for them, unfortunately, on that side of the ball. Their running game looks okay, but they can't get anything done in the air. So I think that, unfortunately, they haven't got much going for them in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I think, no, that they cannot bring it back from here.
Jay, their next 3 games are the Dolphins, Ravens, Texans, and then 49ers. Can you see them winning any of those?
I think they can beat the Dolphins next week. I don't think they have to beat the Dolphins next week. That is season over if you hit 0-4. So I think they will beat the Dolphins. I'll travel that. I don't rate the Dolphins, especially if Tua's not playing, which we're up in the air at the moment. Ravens at home would be tough. Like, they've just had a really tough schedule, and this is a team that I thought they'd get the Seahawks in week 1 and they'd lose to the. So I had them losing to the Seahawks week 1, beating the Seahawks week 1, which they obviously didn't, losing to the Rams and losing to the Titans. But then I've got them beating their stretch does get better. They get the Jets, they get the Texans, the Jets, the Jaguars again, the Texans again. So there's potentially 4 wins with the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Jets, 5 with the Jets. They've got tough games. Like the Buccaneers at home is a game I gave them because I thought they'd be better. But right now they're not. They're not.
They're not.
They've got to go to the Bills. They've got to play the Patriots at home, which I gave them. And I know the Patriots had a bad loss today, but I think the Patriots are better than the Colts right now. Cardinals are better than what I thought. I had them beating the Raiders. The Raiders are better than what we thought. I don't think they can. I'm real worried about the Colts. So they don't have the firepower on the offense. Carson Wentz has not been the problem. He's been okay, but they don't have firepower around him. Teams know that, and the running game's being stopped because of it. I think Quentin Nelson's dinged up. He's been good, but not himself. And they're missing Bradley Smith or Ryan Smith, the right tackle. We've got his first name, but they're missing him playing right tackle. Mike Lewinsky, the right guard's being just destroyed every week by the best D tackle. It's tough at the moment. It's tough sledding, and Carson Wentz is getting destroyed. And no, I don't think they can bring it back.
We all know the stats on teams going 0-3. There's been like 5 that have made the playoffs in the last 15 years. Now, there is the extra game, but I don't think it's going to help them. They've created such a tough environment for themselves now. I think they're going to really, really struggle to get back.
They had to get one.
Speaking, 100% they do, but they're going to struggle to get out of here with anything remotely looking like they're going to get it done. Now, speaking of things that are struggling, like the Colts have been, an introduction was had on the weekend as Justin Fields was introduced to the best defensive end in the game right now in Garrett for the Browns, who spent more of his time in the backfield than Fields did. We all know how good Garrett is, but he looked awesome.
Garrett's a freak show. And this is, I've been a real advocate for putting Justin Fields in, and I still think you've got to ride this out. But this is kind of like, Richie, we talk all the time about team building, right? From the inside out. The Bears are now paying for those mistakes. They do not have offensive linemen that can get it done. And it was very clear today against a quality opposition, a quality defensive line, a quality defensive end, they could not get it done. And Myles Garrett did whatever he wanted. It wasn't just the 4.5 sacks. He did whatever he wanted. Also, keep in mind, Clowney had 2. Ronnie Harrison had 1, and Malik Jackson and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah shared 1 together as well. It was
Jock.
Yeah, or Jock, as I should call it. It was a bloodbath. I personally think, and I actually really want to know DJ's thoughts on this because I know he's a big OBJ lover. OBJ looked fantastic. Didn't look like his injury is bothering him at all, and he played really well, and that's a huge win for the Browns.
Mate, I think that the Browns, obviously, they show that they have a really, really high, potent offense. The Browns' defense aren't that bad this year. They didn't look good this game, but is that because the Browns actually had more firepower than the Bears did, or they just had more opportunities because Justin Fields just couldn't move the chains? So for me, it was more that Justin Fields couldn't move the chains, mainly because Mr. Garrett was right in his face too often, and then when he wasn't, his best mate, as you said before, was in his face. So they gave the ball back to the Browns that many times that Baker actually got to choose what he wanted to do, and Odell looks like he needed those weeks. So for me, I'm really excited to watch the rest of the Browns season. The Browns season. I'm not excited to watch the Bears. However, when you have a look at the stats of Justin Fields, he's got a long way to go. He's exciting, his little play that he played last week and the week before. So I think they're going to ride it out, like you said, JA, for a few more weeks before you make any decisions.
He looked bad. He missed wide open guys. I would.
He was terrified.
I'd say Dalton was injured.
He is.
And I would so as soon as he's right, I'd put him back in, saying this is the reason why we're putting him back in. Because Fields did not look like he could get it done. I know he said earlier in the preseason, he said, it wasn't as fast as I thought it would be, and all these other things. Well, it's fucking fast now, mate.
It's not fast when the third stringers are coming at you, you moron.
He even
lined up, you're in trouble.
there was a highlight package put together by the NFL, either network, wherever it ended up. It had every single snap he took, and I watched them all twice over because I couldn't comprehend how an offense in the modern day could be that bad. One, that O-line is god awful. You're so right about building from the inside out. They have not done that, and they're paying for it. They stink. But even then, Fields missed some wide open guys, and when he was running read option, and they will run options. So if those who don't know, you mesh with the running back, depending on what the defensive end does, you either give it to the running back or you pull it. They were baiting him into pulling it. He pulled it way too many times. I'm like, dude, you're in the NFL. You can't run around Clowney. You can't run around Garrett. You can't even run around corners because they're just as fast as you. It is the NFL. You can't play that way when it's a straight run option. It has to be a gaping hole. And Fields is athletic, but he's not Lamar quick.
No,
he's not.
It was clear.
I'm blanking on the Arizona quarterback.
Kyler
Murray. He's not that quick. He's athletic and he's exciting to watch, but he's not that fast. So he can't be doing that, and they can't be calling those plays for him either because he's going to pull it because he's used to running around white defensive ends from Iowa who aren't in the NFL. They're now an intern at Bear Stearns or wherever the hell they've ended up.
Unpaid intern.
Yeah.
Unpaid.
So that's one side of it. Bears fans, sorry, it's going to be a long year. I just want to really touch. I'll throw this to you first, DJ. Kevin Stefanski's offense. I could watch that all day. It's
Absolutely.
Not down the field explosive, but the way it's built and the way it is called is so good to watch.
Absolutely. It looks slick. And like I said, Baker looks like he's confident with every single package they put out there for him. He knows how to use all of his people around him. And their offensive line looked absolutely solid against the Bears. So they didn't look at one point uncomfortable nearly in that entire game. So you're right. That offense is so exciting to watch and explosive. And with OBJ, when Landry comes back as well, they literally get another weapon who's just as good as OBJ. So it's only going to get better.
It should only be a few weeks for him. Jay, is that the best O-line in the league?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's definitely in there. It's definitely. I don't like saying things are the best. Everyone will kind of notice. I keep things like in tiers. They're certainly in that elite tier, and they're very comfortably in that elite tier. I think the Saints are pretty good. I think the Cowboys are still a pretty good O-line. There's kind of that top tier. The Browns are certainly up there. This is just talk about the offense. There's two ways to create explosiveness. You can create explosiveness with players, which is what a lot of high caliber college teams do. They just have faster guys. Watch Deshaun Jackson today. They just have guys that can outrun guys. Or you can create it with scheme. And that's what Stefanski does. He's got two very good running backs that are two very different, and he uses them both very, very well. He's got Baker who can make throws and can't make some throws. So he keeps giving him the ball to make the throws he can make, which creates him to be very efficient and then create explosive plays off that. It's a very good offense, and Stefanski has been outstanding. He's another advocate for why you should hire young offensive guys, not Mike McCarthy.
The way he uses those three tight ends, it's awesome. He puts each one in the situations that they do their best, and like Njoku won't be on the field for 10 plays. You're like, oh god, is he in the ship books? But then all of a sudden he's out there for a particular play. And he's wide open because that's what suits his skill set. It's, as I said, such a great offense to watch.
Very pretty.
We're moving on. JA has created a brand new segment. As you guys know, we add one in most weeks. Should have or shouldn't have. We're looking at all the rookies, not all the rookies, but a bunch of rookies where they were drafted. And should they or should they have not made this pick? We can delve into it a little bit, but everyone will go around the room. Yes, no. Horribly no. Yay.
The one thing you can't say it's too soon to tell. That's
no, you got to make a call.
That's exactly right.
You've got to just make.
What was it last night? You said, Jay, no one likes a fence sitter.
No one likes a fence sitter.
No.
I did say that last night. I don't know what got into me last
You were
night.
literally all or nothing. Your Steelers are the worst.
I was calling everyone out. I didn't give a shit.
Hot take nation is what's going on. All right,
That's
first
exactly
one,
right.
straight out of the gate. J.A. will start with you. Jamar Chase, wide receiver, Cincinnati.
as much as I would have preferred them to pick the guy we're going to talk about next because of position and I'm biased, I
wonder what it
100%
is.
do it again. 5 touchdowns, first 3 games. The guy's a freak show. He is 100% the right pick. They've nailed it. They'll fix the O-line later, I think. But right now, great pick by them and would 100% do it again.
Agreed.
DJ?
Yes. Absolutely nothing to add. He's a freak.
Yeah, nothing to add. All I'm going to say is all the stuff in the preseason game not being able to catch. I said you were morons then. I'm doubling down. You're an even bigger moron now.
He can catch.
Next,
Definitely
DJ, we'll start with you. Penny Sewell, tackle Detroit.
I'm going to say absolute yeah, as one of the top 4 picks that we could use. I think that he was an absolute bargain where he was picked by Detroit, and I think that they are going to be able to build that Lions team. They have to build it from somewhere, and as you said, you build from the inside out. I think he is an excellent inside pick, and he's going to be there for a long time.
I keep saying the fact that he was drafted to play right tackle in the first 3 games. He's played left tackle, hasn't given up a sack. Had some great run blocks today. Big, strong dude. I got his helmet the other week because I wanted it. I just think he's going to be a really, really good football player. I think
Don't forget he's playing for Detroit.
Who are bad. He's going to be the next 10 years. Now, Detroit are bad in a lot of areas. Offensive line's not one of them. They get Taylor Decker back. Frank Ragnar's a good player. They're solid. They're building the right way. Just if Dan Campbell can survive it, but 100%.
We'll keep Dan Campbell there while they build it because it's going to take a while. Then get a real coach to put him over the top.
Thing is, I don't think he's there this time. If they redraft, I don't reckon.
Oh, he's definitely not there
at 6.
No, I don't think he's there either.
Someone takes it early.
Next, Jay, I'll start with you. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Jacksonville.
Ooh, what's he going to do? You need to make a decision, Jay.
Don't pick him. And hear me out. Hear me out. Jaguars are going to be shit this year. They're going to be a top 3 pick again, easily. You should have picked someone like Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, a talented guy that you can't find all the time, and then come back and take your chance next year. I don't think Lawrence has blown me away yet. Now, he may turn into something really good. As of right now, with what I know now, making this pick, there's probably 5 or 6 guys I would take in front of Trevor Lawrence who are already looking like they're going to be really, really good football players, and none of them are quarterbacks. So I would do that. When you're a crap team, you're not gonna be competing for a couple of years now. So you don't take the quarterback. You take the best talented guy, and then you come back and get the quarterback later because you're not going to be that good. I wouldn't have done it.
DJ.
I disagree. I say yes. I don't say yes with severe conviction, but I say yes. A franchise QB, a once-in-a-generation talent, as they were saying as he was being scouted, you always go for the generational QB, and then you build around the QB. I'd say next year when they have the first number 1 pick again, then you would definitely look at going for the inside guys. But this year, I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely still the right pick. I'm not going to say that the phrase we're not allowed to, but I will just put it out there that Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota went 1 and 2 one year as well. So don't not forget that.
But this is the thing. There's a generational talent every year at quarterback. That's my point. There's rarely guys like Penei Sewell was one of the highest rated tackles in the history of the draft. Those guys don't come every year.
We know how much you love O-line, JA.
Yeah,
we
but
know
there's
that.
plenty of other guys, which we'll get to later. I'd take Jamar Chase right now. Now, taking a receiver 1 would be insanity. But
Stupid.
as of right now, my more thing is Trevor Lawrence, I think, will end up being a good player. But there's one every year, and you never know. This is the problem. They're a 50-50 proposition. So why not take your chance?
It's less than that.
Higher. Yeah, it's less now.
Yeah.
Why not take your chance on something that you know is on a less than 50% chance of them being good? Because most O-line, D-line, not running backs, never take a running back in the first round. But yeah,
especially number 2.
They could have taken guys who are more of a chance to succeed straight away, and they've taken a guy that's going to struggle for this year. He really will because the talent around him is dreadful.
I'll give you one thing. You can't build your team when you've been fired. If they didn't take Lawrence, the owner would have fired.
Would have been fired.
Simple as that.
Evan Myers would have had a very short career.
Next one. I already know Jay's going to say, so I'm going to start with DJ. Micah Parsons, linebacker, Dallas.
I'm going to say no. Now, that is based on the fact that you pricks jumped up and took him in front of us. I actually reckon for your scheme, no, I don't think what you needed at Dallas was actually a linebacker. And I think that he's had a good few weeks, but I don't think that justifies the pick. I think he's a great talent, but I actually don't think it justifies the picks. I'm going to still say no.
I'm going to shock
JA.
you because I know I bagged this pick so badly. Last week, watching him play defensive end or outside linebacker, seeing his athleticism and his versatility, it kind of changed my tune. If he can be a pass rusher, which I think he can, then I'm all for it. I thought you were getting an off-ball linebacker. I didn't see him play college because he didn't play last year. I didn't know he was an elite pass rusher last week. He had the best pass rushing rating in the league last week. So I want to see him tomorrow and see what he does again because he's going to be playing that role again. But if he's got that sort of versatility, 100%, I'm in, make that pick again, 100%. And as of right now, the information I've got is that he does have that versatility. So believe it or not, I'm bagged this pick for that long. I'm in all again. Jalen Smith isn't very good. He's struggling and looks like Leighton Vander Esch is on the outer, so he probably won't get re-signed at the end of this year. So, I'm with it. Make that pick again.
He's so little though. He's so light.
But watch him. It didn't matter. They couldn't get.
But
he just uses speed. He's speed.
He has impressed me. I said I was the biggest advocate of that pick. Is that the right word?
You were the biggest advocate against that pick.
Against that pick, hated it, and I'm turned around. I'd do it again.
It is true, you said, Jay. When it comes to off the ball linebackers, you can often get them in the second round. Like Levante David was a second round pick. But that being said, Devin White was a first round pick. So they're out there. Off ball linebackers, they tend not to be drafted in the first round. And I guess if you just look at this for straight value, I probably wouldn't have picked him. Now, this kind of just line up at D end in a wide 9 and rush, you can probably beat half the tackles in the NFL doing that. The other half are going to eat you up because he's not big enough to brawl with them. He tries to speed rush and they'll be like, haha, hilarious. I'm actually much better than you. So I think he's going to go 50-50 doing that. If they scheme him to do it against the guys who can't defend that speed rush, I think he's going to have a lot of success. Play him off the ball the rest of the time when you're playing against somebody who's much better than you, which, as I said, I reckon will be about half the tackles in the league would be better than him. So I don't know. I don't think I would do it, but I think if they put him in a position to success, they'll have it.
There's a real chance he could be a superstar. That's what I'm seeing now. It's only 2 games in, but I didn't think I'd see that in him. But I think
he's calling himself the Terminator, though. He's 3 weeks in. Who gives themselves a nickname within 2 weeks?
Yeah,
he will. I'll throw it out there. He will never.
It's a bad look.
He will never make an All-Pro team ever.
No, that's tough.
That's a huge call.
All-Pro teams are tough to make.
Yes, they are tough to make.
Absolutely. I'd back that in, but I think he could be a multiple Pro Bowl sort of guy and very effective in that scheme.
Yeah.
Yes, but not all
potentially. Yeah. Not first or second team overall. Put it out there. He'll never make one.
No, that's
we can name at least 6 that are much better than him, so that makes sense.
Cole Pitts, defense. Oh, I nearly called him a defensive end. Tight end from Atlanta. Jay, I'll start with you.
Yes, definitely. Purely on the fact of what he could be. He has some good moments. He's certainly struggling with the size and speed of the NFL, much like we talked about Fields before. He can't just push everyone around now, and he can't outrun everyone anymore. But he had a big catch on the final drive today, which helped, which set up the field goal. I think him and Matt Ryan are getting used to each other a little bit as well. I'd take it purely on the chance because you can see all the traits that made him. When he's on the field, you notice where he is before the snap every time. Your eyes just are drawn to him. He's so big. So yes, I would make that pick again, purely not from what I've seen, but from what I think we're going to see still. The hype's still there for me.
DJ?
Yeah, I say no. Like, it's the same argument that you had for Penei Sewell. Like, he was taken 4th overall, a tight end. He needed to have a bigger impact than he's had. Look, yes, he's pretty to look at, and yes, he's difficult to cover. But when the entire team has absolutely no way of getting him the ball, then absolutely not. They need to rebuild, and I don't think a tight end's a good place to start at that. So I'd say no, based on the fact that he's not a number 4 overall pick.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, DJ. I'm going to say no too. Atlanta have far more pressing needs, and I don't know. I just don't think this guy's going to be a Kelsey or a Gronk or a generational type tight end. He might have a few good years, or maybe even elite years, but I don't think he's going to be a generational tight end. Like Jimmy Graham had a couple of years where he was really unstoppable, but 2.5? That's not enough for a 4th.
At the Saints, he was good, Jimmy Graham. Really good.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah, what was as soon as I traded into the Seahawks, it was over.
Yeah, and that's really what I'm saying. So, first off, you need a coach and a scheme that's going to be able to use this guy. And I used the 3rd pick or the 4th?
Fourth.
I can't
Who's
remember now. So fourth pick. This guy's to play for your organization for 10 years and be an all-pro. That's what this pick has to be. Otherwise, you blew it. Like, that's what happens.
Yep.
So, I don't know. At the end of the day, he's a tight end.
I'm still buying that. I think he's an offensive weapon, not just a tight end.
Did you say you're still fighting the fight?
I'm still that's what I said. I'm still fighting the fight.
I thought you said I'm still fighting the fight.
That's what I thought you said too.
I think I did.
Next one.
No, I said I'm still believing the hype. I think.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's been a long day.
Alex Leatherwood, O-tackle, Las Vegas.
Well, I'm going to have to say no. Now, I know it's probably an early crow for a poor offensive tackle, but hear me out. So he's allowed 3 sacks in 3 games. He's had 4 penalties, which ranks him one of the top O linemen in the actual NFL for penalties given. And he's literally the Pro Football Focus have him at number 32 overall for his position. So I'm going to say no at pick 17. From what we've seen thus far, I don't think he was a value pick, and I'd take someone else. Although, tell you what, Las Vegas are looking good, so maybe it was a good pick after all, but I'm going to go with no, based on his personal stats.
Fucking dreadful pick. It was dreadful when they did it. It's worse now. Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay. Do you know where that would have been great? In the fucking second round.
Second round?
Not in the first round. Not in the
him or Andrew Thomas, Jay.
Oh, Andrew Thomas, because he's
the
got
fact
talent.
you have to think
Andrew
about
Thomas
that is so sad.
Andrew Thomas can be better. Andrew Thomas, he was a very good college football player. Very, very good.
Like
Alex
a top
Leatherwood
4 pick.
Yeah, Alex Leatherwood was not. He wasn't even expected to go in the first round. This is Cleveland Ferrell 2.0. That it blows my mind that Mike Mayock used to assess the draft and he was an expert. It was a dreadful pick when they did it. It's a fucking dreadful pick now. It will never change my mind. He could be an all-pro and it will never change my mind because you know if he's an all-pro when that would have been a good pick in the second round, not where they got him. They should have got someone else way better.
100%. And that's the biggest problem when everyone has these guys graded out into the second round. You don't have to draft them in the first. You can trade up in the second and get them with the 5th pick in the second round. When you take them with the 17th pick in the first round, you're just blowing your own game up. It's like when people say, that's the guy we really wanted. Cool. Trade down. Get more assets. You don't have to pick them where you stand. It's just bad.
God, I'll be
football.
Speaking about that pretty significantly in 2 points, Richie.
Bad organization.
It should be called the Saquon Barkley rule. That's what it should be called.
Hey, come on.
Enough of that. Moving on. Zach Wilson, quarterback, New York Jets. DJ.
I'm going to say yes still. I know that this is obviously a bit rough because I've had the exact same answer for our mate Trevor Lawrence, and I think that they're both doing badly. However, at the Jets, they don't do well by quarterbacks, no matter what they do. So hopefully in 4 years' time, he'll go to a team that'll treat him well, and he'll be a very, very good quarterback. So I think it's still, no, I can't say that. I'm not allowed to say it. I think that he will absolutely be worth their second overall pick going forward. That's really hard to say because obviously the Jets need a whole lot more, and I think they need more things in the front office and around him than he's currently got. So he's still 2 years off from seeing what he's got.
J.A.
Really live arm, which I love. He can move, which I love. The reason I think compared to the Jaguars why I would make this pick again is they've got their trenches sewn up. Like they've got Quinton Williams, who's a really good D tackle, probably do with a DN, but there wasn't really any top 5. There's certainly no top 10 DNs in this draft, so I can understand not doing that. And they have Mekhi Becton and the guy with 2 names who's playing left guard. I've forgotten his name, who they got later in the first round as well. So they did address those. They did address those situations. So yeah, I'd do it again. The Jets have been hurt by lack of talent and injuries. Like they've lost their big left tackle. It's a real harsh learning curve. He's learning. Zach Wilson's learning. But I think it's his arm. There's something about watching that kid throw the ball. There's just something about it. It's mesmerizing for me. So yes,
it's a cannon. Do you reckon he's colorblind though? Like, is it that's what the issues with interceptions are?
No,
Bit of LASIK, maybe. Bit of
I
LASIK.
think there's some coaching issues there.
Absolutely.
I think maybe don't look what, and we'll talk Patriots a bit later, but look at what the Patriots are doing with McCorkle, not letting him, other than today, not letting him make throws that hurt him. They
barely let him. They barely let him throw it 10 yards down the field. But we'll come back to him.
They
Zach
also
Wilson,
don't let him in the gym. That's right.
Yeah, I'd 100% do this again. He said he's got a live arm. He's got a lot of good traits, and they had draft capital. So, as Jay said, they could address other needs because they had picks from earlier trades. So, I got no problem with number 2's pick overall taking a quarterback. I mean, it happens all the time. Next, Kadarius Toney, is that right? I have no idea.
Wouldn't know because you haven't heard any commentators speak his name yet.
I enjoy.
Normally, you have to catch a ball to do that.
They get it that bad.
The rundown. He's had 4 catches in 3 games for a first-round pick on a team that's not really stacked at the receiver position. This was very similar to Alex Leatherwood. Like, no one thought he'd go in the first round. And then I remember all the articles going, oh, this is going to be the steal of the draft, UC. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Mate, those articles remind me of the unvaccinated propaganda. Literally, they're full of shit, and the people who are writing them don't know what they're fucking doing. This is literally the worst pick of the first round by a fucking mile. There are 31 other players, Alex Leatherwood included, that should have been taken before this. This is absolute bullshit. We have two star. Yes, 100%. I'll take an injured running back over him. This is just bullshit. We had 2 injured, supposedly top-tier wide receivers, and he still didn't get on the fucking field. What does that say for you? Nah, piss off Kadarius Toney.
Hey, whoa.
Cut oranges.
You're
so
angry
no,
at
would
the
be my
wrong,
answer.
You're angry at the wrong guy. Don't be angry at him because he's crap. Be angry at your own team for drafting him high.
I'm so angry at my own team.
When I added that to this game, this is exactly what I wanted. DJ, thank you for delivering as always. You're exactly what I needed.
You put the bait out there. I couldn't help. I've been angry seeing his name all the way down the list.
We're just going to move on. I don't want your take, J.A., and I'm not giving mine. Najee Harris, running back, Pittsburgh, J.A., go.
No, you don't. You should not draft running backs in the first round fucking ever. In particular, when you know your offensive line is going to be the worst in the league, because if the Steelers didn't know it was going to be the worst in the league, they were the only people in the world, because there was crappy little podcasts like us that knew it was going to be a crap O-line. So what does that tell you, Steelers? If you can't evaluate your own talent, realize we don't have a great O-line. Ben Roethlisberger's toast. Adding this guy isn't the final piece to make as a playoff team again. It's bad pick. And not the player. I think he's good. I think he would be good. But you know where he would have been great? In the second round, where running backs belong. Sorry. Same thing with Travis Etienne. Don't take running backs in the first round. Find them later.
DJ.
I say agree. No. Look at number 35 was Javonte Williams, and he's already showed that he is just as good, if not better. So second round is where running backs deserve to be, and they didn't meet any of the needs they had. So no, by a mile.
No as well. Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, the list goes on and on. Kamara. You can do it all day.
And the term that, Williams is a better running back, I don't think he's more talented. The correct term is he's been as productive or more productive, because that's all running backs are, and it's horrible. They are just production measurers. They've barely got identities in the NFL now, and it sucks for them, but it's the nature of it. So don't get sucked in and take them. Simple as that. Same. If I could go back 4 years and tell the Cowboys not to take Zeke, I tell them not to. Simple as that. You just don't need to take him now.
Couldn't agree more. Good fun, that one. Obviously, we have a few hot takes there. We will have another game next week. Moving on, games of the week. J.A., we're going to start with you. You have the Dolphins 28 going down to the Raiders 31 in overtime.
Another OT game for the Raiders. First team in the history of the NFL to go 3-0 against 3 teams the year before that won 10 games. So people can say, oh, they're playing crap teams. Yes, I don't think the Steelers are that good, but they've beaten the Ravens, who we like, and the Dolphins, who aren't bad. I think the Dolphins are a bad team. I think not having Tua kind of hurt them. Jacoby Brissett was pretty average. They probably also didn't want to throw it 49 times, but unfortunately that's what the game dictates when, again, bad offensive line, can't run the ball, can't find production on the ground. You've got to throw it to your tight ends and that sort of stuff, who, again, we talked Jamar Chase. Jalen Waddle, 12 receptions, now only 58 yards, but he can certainly get himself open, and he looks like he's been a good pick. Mike Gesicki's a great tight end. Will Fuller played today. But on the other side, Oakland, I am crushing so hard on Derek Carr right now. I can't even explain it. He's sharing the ball around. He is obviously got the hand of Gruden's system, the hang of Gruden's system, because he'll throw it to anyone. He doesn't give a shit who he throws it to. Brian Edwards was the big guy today. Henry Ruggs starting to find some feet. Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller, Kenyon Drake, Zay Jones had a big first down catch today. He spreads it around. He finds the open guys. He runs the offense and he attacks the defense. Because Gruden, one thing he is good at, he can't build a team to save his fucking life, but he can scheme against the defense. He won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. Google Brad Johnson. Google it. He won it with an old Brad Johnson.
Good point.
I watched it.
He can scheme. Yeah, he can scheme, that guy. So let him go. Defense has turned around. This game was outstanding. Really fun game to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish. I feel sorry for the Dolphins being 1-2. They could easily be 3-0. But unfortunately, they could also easily be 0-3. So take what you can. I think they'll bounce back. But Raiders, man, they're so much fun, and I'm really enjoying Derek Carr.
DJ, anything you want to add?
I think you've said it all for me. It's Tua's backup, versus an actual straight up fully fledged team. So I don't think they had much of a chance to begin with. And the Raiders just show they know how to close out a game. So that's a ball from me. Go Raiders.
Dolphins did a great job. I'll say Dolphins did a great job being in this on the road. I know I crap on about it every week, but road games are hard. They're just hard. It's and they took this to the wire. Like, this kick was at the end of the OT.
They'd already both kicked.
They both kicked field goals. So, that game went down the wire. It was actually a really good game. I had the Packers 30, the 49ers 28. This thing came down to a Crosby kick at the death. It was that classic thing. You left a legendary quarterback too much time on the clock, who went down, got into field goal range, and kicked the field goal. Can I put something out there?
Yep, you can.
Adams is not an elite receiver.
No. Why? I'm very curious as to why.
Really?
He drops a lot he shouldn't, and I just think he has got an all-pro quarterback, and he is very good, but he is not DeAndre Hopkins. He's not elite.
Wow,
he runs a lot of slants too.
I don't know.
Runs a lot of slants.
He's the best route runner in football. He also had 12 catches for 132 yards today. I thought he was.
I thought he did okay.
I'm not saying he's crap, but he should have had over 150.
He should have got a penalty on that one where he got absolutely
he got mugged.
Obliterated. He should have got that penalty. So, which would have meant the Grey Bay Packers probably win it earlier. They won it in the end, but yeah, I disagree. I don't often disagree with you, Rich, but I think Adams is in that.
I don't know.
I'm curious though, where he is then in that top five of elite wide receivers. You think that he's under the top five?
Top of your head. I know.
Now you're going to make me do a list.
Obviously, Kadarius Toney's above.
Kadarius Toney should be because of the potential. But Gadget guy.
Hopkins, you'd have over him.
Yes, I definitely want Hopkins over him. I think
Julio.
I think Hopkins is probably one of the best. No, I don't want Julio.
You'd have Keenan Allen, I imagine, up there in the top five.
I want Tyreek Hill. I probably want Allen Robinson.
I guess he hasn't had a quarterback to throw the ball to him, so it makes it hard, doesn't it?
Would you have Amari Cooper over him?
No.
If Amari Cooper played in that offense and he was playing that position, he'd have way higher production.
Oh, yes, I was going to say
that's what I'm saying.
I think Amari Cooper is the top of tier 2. That's where I rank Amari Cooper. So you have him. You have him below Amari. You would, in that situation, you think Amari Cooper is better.
All I'm saying is I think if you plug the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL into that offense playing that position, they'd have even higher production.
Cooper Kupp.
And if you 100%.
Oh, yeah. So actually, Cooper Kupp for me is up there. He's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe you don't think he's elite. That's a
Mike
big
Evans. Mike Evans is better. Can you imagine Mike Evans playing that position?
He's too busy throwing the toys.
He doesn't drop.
Yeah. Brady wants to throw to Gronk because Brady's done. He's finished. The decline started today.
Yeah. Okay.
I just said
I
about
still
Rodgers.
say,
Went
yeah.
back to chuckle when you said they left too much time on the clock for Rodgers. 37 seconds. with
37
no timeouts.
seconds.
I think I messaged you guys saying
You did.
TJ,
I messaged
you
saying,
it's
I
gonna be
said,
tough.
oh my God, 37
Hail
seconds.
Mary.
You reckon a Hail Mary might do it? And you said, mate, he's
Right.
going to kick a field goal here. And I
You only need the
laughed.
field goal. Also,
You
I'm
can't-
shocked every time
can't
Mason
leave any.
Crosby walks out to kick. I can't believe that guy's still playing in the NFL. I swear he was playing when I first started watching the NFL. What season is he in? He
We're
must
all, we're all feverishly Googling it, I'm sure.
be 37 years old. He has been playing. He got
He was
drafted.
2007 in the 6th round.
Jesus.
I think
2007
draft
watching
pretty
about
good.
04. So not long after that though. He's almost been playing the whole time I've watched football. That's incredible. And all at the Packers, yeah? Every season at the Packers?
Yes. Yep.
I'm shocked every time I see it. Well done, Mason Crosby. Great kick too. And again, great game of football. Also, Richie, I'd love to know your thoughts. Jimmy G's drive to win the game or to get the lead. 6 points down against the Packers team in Was it in Lambeau? No, it was at home.
No, it was
home.
at
It was
49ers.
49ers.
Was that
Yeah.
49ers? But that is, you talk about with there is lunch tray is that hot on his fucking tail. It's not funny. He's getting reps, more and more reps every week. He's making
Another
Got a
yards.
rushing
touchdown.
touchdown this week.
Yep.
Yep.
And every week,
2 out of 3
Jimmy
weeks.
G does something that makes me go, he's your fucking guy. Like, you've got to stick with this guy this year. You've got to. It's very Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick. And he's doing the best he can every week. And I'm all about it. They're getting what they wanted out of that pick right now, the 49ers.
What they're doing right now is creating value.
Yep.
Because you get to
They're
trade
one
him
of
at the
them.
end of the year. If he plays to this level for the whole year, doesn't fall apart, doesn't get injured, gets to the end of the year, you can go, cool, who wants to give me a
Detroit?
first and a second round pick?
Yeah. You want him
The
Detroit?
Giants.
Where he is.
Him and Goff, it's kind of the
Saints, imagine
same.
sending Jimmy
I
to the
don't think the
Saints.
Giants would be far away.
Sending Jimmy to the Saints, sending him to Denver, put him in Denver. That's an instant. Well, I think they're a playoff team now. That's an instant playoff team in Denver if they get him. He's exactly what they need.
And that's really what they're creating there with him is value because they have to move on because of where they drafted Lunch Tray. So easy as that. Last game, DJ
Chargers. And the Chiefs. Chargers
mate.
go into Arrowhead and they
Great
beat the
win.
Chiefs 30-24. Awesome win. Now, although the scoreline doesn't really say it, for me, the difference between both teams were turnovers. So there were 4 turnovers by the Chiefs. 2 of them led to really quick scores, 14 points. And really, the Chiefs could have put their head down and didn't. They end up clawing it back to making this an actual really close game. But for me, the stats speak for themselves. Look, Justin Herbert is an absolute freak. He threw for
Generational
4
talent. Not even
touchdowns.
a
He
joke.
is exactly right.
Not even
One
joke.
of my hot takes that actually stuck. And for me, he threw 4 touchdowns. Austin Eckler, he ran and passed for a combination of 111 yards with a touchdown. Keenan Allen is a freak. I just think they've got so many weapons on that LA offense. Now, it was exciting to watch LA today go in there and beat them at Arrowhead, which doesn't really happen. And if all those people that are on Twitter saying that this is the start of the Chiefs' decline, you're a bunch of idiots. The Chiefs literally gave up 14 points and still only lost by 6 points. So I wouldn't be worried if I'm a Chiefs fan. But for me, it was really exciting to watch this Chargers, like I said, take a away game into one of the hardest places in football to get a win. I actually thought the Chiefs' offense looked really good the whole game. The Chiefs' defense looked quite good the whole game. So it was a really fun game to watch. There was no bad part of the game. You kind of felt icky that the first interception that got picked because it bounced off a receiver's hands for 20 yards to to have a flying interception 5 yards from your own end. So that's not on. I don't think that's on Mahomes. But still, for me, it was the best game of the round. It was the most exciting, and we have what should be 2 of the people who are going to be there late in the season.
The Chargers really need this win because I don't know if anyone's looked ahead. They've got the Raiders, the Browns, and the Ravens in the next 3 weeks before they've got some easier games. So getting a win like this after going down the Cowboys at home last week, really important bounce back game. I was really impressed where they came back.
They're really good and they're really fun to watch. Mike Williams was a great start in my fantasy team this week. Thank you, Mike. Also, can we just discuss the end of the game going for the touchdown? How fucking dumb that was. Like, I get going for it on 4th down to get the first down. They got the call and but then run it 3 times and drain the clock to 0 and kick a field goal to win. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre thing. And
it was a weird thing to hand the ball back. Like that's a very odd coaching move,
made
isn't it?
No sense. Now, obviously, it was very unlikely they'd lose from there, but when you're playing guys like Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady.
He gave the ball to Mahomes.
Yeah.
Gave the ball to Mahomes with a minute and a half left.
Really, really
Like,
bad
it's
coach
madness.
move. And he admitted that after the game. I've forgotten the head coach's name. Or Staley, sorry, Brendan Staley. Yeah, he admitted after the game, and then he said, "Lucky we have a superhuman or something at quarterback." It was real lame, but yeah,
It certainly helps,
game.
though.
Yeah, great game. And Herbert's unbelievable. Could watch him all day. Him throwing to Keenan Allen, I could watch all day. It's so fun.
I could easily rewatch that game after I've already seen it like twice.
Just very last segment, as we always like to finish with, is the upset of the week. The Saints beating the Patriots 28-13. Guys, give me a few words on it, JA, first.
McCorkle looked like a rookie for the first time this season. They asked him to throw downfield. He couldn't do it. It shows some holes in his game that I think can improve, but it's certainly a hole right now. And if the Patriots can't play the game on their terms, which they couldn't today, they really struggle. And it was a bad loss at home against the Saints and Winston, who literally threw a touchdown when he closed his eyes as he was falling backwards and threw the ball up in the air. It was un-Patriots-like. They didn't dominate any line of scrimmage, and yeah, that led to the upset.
DJ?
You stole my hot take, JA, of the best touchdown he's ever thrown because his eyes were fucking closed. There is no argument whether the LASIK helped or not because his eyes were closed. The look that Sean Payton gave him when he came on the sideline was one where he wanted to stab him in the face. The fact
Who
they
got
won
away with this year? Two really, but one was because of a crap penalty and one because Callaway made an outstanding catch.
Now you forgot, JA, but I actually picked this upset yesterday. I see you didn't record my little snippet of when you told me I was an idiot.
I don't even make you look good here. What the fuck? I'm here to make myself good. You guys should know by now. I'm all about
But
me.
look, it really just shows that Alvin Kamara and a good offensive line can actually change the outcome of any game. And they did this. The defense was solid against Patriots, who didn't fire on all cylinders, but realistically, their defense was still pretty good. So the Saints have shown that they outcoached the Patriots, which is a weird thing to say going into Foxborough against Bill. So for me, it was exciting. As a Saints fan, you'd be excited to watch it.
Fantastic. To finish off, we'll take a quick look at the Monday night game. Picks only here, guys. Dallas Cowboys up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams are 1-1. JA, your winner, please.
Cowboys, but I'm not feeling good about it.
DJ.
I am for the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to smack the Cowboys, even though my fantasy needs Dak Prescott to score 35 points.
Well, you're playing me, so I hope he does not. But for your sake, Jay, I hope they win. I do think the Cowboys are the better football team. They should win this game.
Can I say one thing quickly? Next week, Tom Brady goes to Foxborough.
Yes.
Oh,
the ultimate decision of who was the reason, and I think it's Brady. You know what? I think the reason Josh McDaniels was only a good coordinator. There's no one knocking on Josh McDaniels' door now for a job because he can't do fucking anything with Cam Newton or McCorkle. How about some explosiveness down there, Josh? Fuckhead. I hate him. You don't screw over the Colts like that and get away with it. Tosser. No time for
wow.
He could be the best coach in the world. I will never, ever get over what that asshole did. That was.
I wonder if he would have agreed with drafting Kadarius Toney when they did. It feels like the same reaction.
It is. And yeah, but I'm excited for that. That's so exciting next week. Not for the Thursday night game. Bengals, Jaguars. Fuck, man.
Yeah, well, that's back to classic Thursday night scheduling for next week, but we'll let that go. The Monday night game should be much better. Brings us to the end of today's show. Everyone, thank you so much for listening and downloading. Please share, like, review. Big thanks to Dark Horse Electrics and, of course, Burnley Brewing, who make the best beers on the planet. Until next week, gentlemen, enjoy your football.
Love your work, boys. See ya.
Cheers.